What are some of the most common universal withdrawal symptoms from Kratom? Hey guys, welcome back to Joey Talks Life. My name is Joey, and on today's video, I want to talk to you about some of the most common universal symptoms of withdrawing from Kratom. If you don't know my story, I am someone who was using Kratom for about 4 years, had another channel called Joey Talks that got taken down by YouTube because of talking about Kratom. And right around that time, I was already committed and had decided that I was going to taper off and stop taking Kratom. And so now on this channel, I'm talking about my withdrawal process and many other things that I geek out on, like my faith, like longevity, like nootropics. And so if those things appeal to you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to hear a little more about why I quit Kratom and my story and the withdrawals I went through, I'll put a little link up here that will connect you directly to that video. And also, this is an entire playlist. So if you're interested in tapering down Kratom or coming off of it altogether, be sure to check out the entire playlist. So after doing lots of reading and watching and listening to other people who have quit Kratom, I feel like that I am the stereotypical run-of-the-mill person when it comes to what I experienced during my Kratom withdrawals. I know there are some people out there that say that they stop taking Kratom and they have no withdrawals or very, very minimal. And if that's you, that is amazing and wonderful for you. But I think for myself and for most people, we experience some common universal symptoms. Number one, what started within 12 hours of stopping Kratom, there's 3 things. One was diarrhea and stomach pain. Some people get nauseous and puke. I never had that, but I had incredible diarrhea. Secondly, I had insomnia. My insomnia lasted probably for about 6 to 7 weeks. And I'm someone who gets at least 7 hours of sleep a night, like religiously. I sleep like a baby. So this was the first time in my life I actually experienced true insomnia where I could not sleep. I think most nights I got anywhere from 1 to 3 hours. And again, this went on for 6 to 7 weeks. And so that made it very difficult to get through my day with 4 kids, working jobs, and all that other stuff. Combined with the insomnia is restless leg syndrome. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that. I actually experienced restless legs while I was still taking Kratom. When I was on higher doses, I would notice that I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would feel restless in my legs until I took a dose of Kratom, and then I could go back to sleep. Now, that's kind of a sign that I was taking too much. And if that happens to you, it's a sign that you're taking too much daily and you probably want to cut back. Restless legs are horrendous. I've never experienced them that intense and for that long, but it kind of added to the insomnia because if I did fall asleep, 20 minutes later, I'd wake up with these restless legs. Now, some people think it means like your legs are moving or kicking. For me, that's not what it was. What it was more like was like itch, almost like ants were crawling all over my legs. And so that makes you want to move them. I remember like punching my legs in the middle of the night because I just wanted that sensation to go away. And I tried every remedy I think that was out there for it. Only one thing worked, which I'll share with you in a minute. But the combination of insomnia and restless legs, that just destroyed my sleep cycle. And lastly, I would say the most common universal withdrawal symptom is anhedonia, which I've talked about before, but in essence, all that means is the lack of feeling satisfaction, fulfillment, or even motivation. Now, I'm a very driven person. I run my own business. I have 4 kids. I am not someone who deals with lack of motivation or wanting to get things done. But during those 6 to 7 weeks of the withdrawals, I had no emotion. Little things like washing my dishes. I never realized that I had a sense of fulfillment or satisfaction from getting a task done. But when that was absent, it was very bizarre. Other things like I take my kids to eat pizza every Friday night to the same pizza place. And I noticed that when we were there, usually I just have a, subconscious general feeling of like, oh, this is nice, like warm feelings, families together, we're all eating pizza. Again, during my withdrawals, it was like I was numb and could not feel anything. That was extremely challenging for me. I'm a deeply emotional person. And so to not have feeling, especially sense of fulfillment or satisfaction or pleasure, was very challenging to live with. It made it very difficult for me to engage with my kids, with chores around the house, with my work. Pretty much anything that needed to get done, I had to force. I had to like convince myself, you've got to get up and do the laundry. You've got to get up and work on your work. And even at that, I would engage with my work for about 30 to 45 minutes. And then I would feel this wave of exhaustion, not just like I wanted to lay down and go to sleep, but my physical body would feel exhausted, like heavy, like I needed to lay down. So here's what I did to deal with those main symptoms of withdrawal. Number one, for the diarrhea, I took Imodium and I took it frequently. I definitely took more than is recommended on the box, but if I didn't take it, I would not have been able to leave my house. It was that bad. I was probably on Imodium for about 5 to 6 weeks. And the other problem with diarrhea is some other remedies that people talk about, just you can't use them. Like magnesium makes you go to the bathroom. High levels of vitamin C makes you go to the bathroom. So while I take magnesium on a daily basis, I had to stop taking it because it exasperated my diarrhea. And the same thing with the high doses, not even high doses, regular doses of vitamin C would exasperate that. So it really sucked that I couldn't take vitamin C or magnesium during that time. Again, it just would have made the diarrhea all the more worse. For sleep, nothing worked. Nothing worked. I tried every herb, every over-the-counter medication. I had some Xanax. I mean, I tried everything that I could research and find and buy. Nothing worked. And I'm very sensitive to sleep medications, very sensitive to things like Benadryl or Unisom. I mean, I take a half a pill and it knocks me out and makes me feel groggy the next day. When I was going through my withdrawals, I took 3 pills of Unisom. Nothing. It did not affect me whatsoever. And again, if you can think about it, I probably tried it when it comes to over-the-counter remedies or herbs, supplements, medications. Nothing worked. The restless legs, same thing. I tried a bunch of different stuff. Again, there are a lot of suggestions on the internet, on Reddit, on other blogs that actually deal with restless legs exclusively, and none of their suggestions worked. There was only one thing that actually helped to alleviate it. Now, it didn't take it away. It did help to improve the restless legs, which actually helped me to sleep more. And what I mean by more is like up to 3 hours. And that was Delta 8. Delta 8 did help. For whatever reason, my restless legs calmed down. It made me a little more drowsy. And so then I was able to get, 3 hours. I think at the best, further into my withdrawals, I probably got up to 4.5 or 5. But I did notice that the Delta 8 helped the best out of everything. Everything else didn't do anything. Like I didn't notice any difference whatsoever. With the D8, I did. Then the anhedonia, another tricky one. I tried all of the precursor dopamine herbs and supplements. I have Ritalin because I have ADHD. My Ritalin did nothing. Usually if I take 5 milligrams in the morning and 10 milligrams in the afternoon. And so I tried shifting that to 10 milligrams in the morning. And usually when I take those at my baseline, my norm, I am ready to go. I'm very focused. Nothing. I took 10 milligrams in the morning, 10 milligrams in the afternoon. I did not feel Ritalin at all. Other stimulants did nothing for me either. Things like caffeine and nicotine, nothing. I felt no difference. I didn't feel any more focused or energized or motivated. I'd say the only thing that actually alleviated the anhedonia for a short time, like an hour or two, were exercise and ice baths. Now again, getting myself to actually exercise would take me about 45 minutes of convincing myself and making myself do it. But once I got out there and did it, it sucked like hell. But when I got back home, obviously I would have increased endorphins and dopamine and adrenaline going through my system. So that would actually help me feel better. Same thing with the ice bath. Anything that's going to like shock your system will help to reduce the anhedonia and help you to cope with it. And just as a side note, I know a lot of people talk about like taking all of these supplements that increase dopamine naturally or even increase serotonin. But the thing that I've learned and that you got to keep in mind is that if you've been on Kratom for a long time, Kratom has been hijacking your neurotransmitters, causing them to produce more of that neurotransmitters. So now when Kratom is gone, those neurotransmitters are depleted and they don't know how to make the right amount in order to make you feel like in a state of homeostasis. So even if you're taking all of these supplements to try to like increase dopamine, those neurotransmitters are depleted. They're like deflated. and so they need time, which is why we have that 6 to 8 week time of withdrawals, is because the brain is trying to re-regulate itself. So in my opinion, taking all of that stuff, I still took it. I didn't feel any different on it. Maybe it helped support my system to get back to normal and baseline. I don't know. But I never felt anything from it like in the moment. So they have a deficit of dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, all of those things the body is trying to re-regulate to get it back to where it's like, oh, this is where we're supposed to live. Then if you take any of those supplements, you will feel the effects of it because you're already at baseline, and that will like push it over so you feel more energized, focused, optimistic, all of those things. All right, I've been talking for a long time here, but this is what I think are the 4 most common withdrawal symptoms when coming off of Kratom. If you guys have any questions, be sure to leave them down below. Also, if you're new here or haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell if you always want to get notifications from me. Really glad you spent some time with me today. Thanks again for stopping by. My name is Joey, and you've been watching Joey Talks Life.